Well, hi, good morning, and thanks so much for joining me here in my shop. Today is the 13th of June, and what I'm going to be doing today, it's alignment day. Hey, so what I'm hoping is at the end of today's session, the radio is properly aligned, sounds great, works great, and it's ready to go back into its cabinet. The first thing I'm going to do is fix this loose antenna here, which is become unglued, and I'm going to use my favorite glue, shoe glue. Yes, it's shoe, S-H-O-E, shoe glue. Yeah, yes, it's intended for shoes. Shoes and radio antennas. So that's all that's going to take. Hold that together. I don't think I've ever tried this on my shoe yet. Just about everything else though. Okay, so I'm going to switch on my equipment, and then I'm going to abandon the shop. Let's turn the radio on too, to let all this warm up pretty thoroughly before there we go. So the weather here is odd again. It's a beautiful sunny day outside, and cold as can be. It's 11 degrees right now, and you know, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. 11 degrees, holy smokes. What did I say? It was June 13th. I have to check to make sure. So we just want to take one run through the radio here before making changes, so afterwards we can compare it again. And my favorite station to do this is right in the middle of the band, the French station. Hello. Where are you? What's happened? Well, that's really odd. Yesterday I'm sure I was getting the... What has happened? No, that didn't help. Well, not odd. There it is. Seems weaker. Seems weaker than it was. Okay, that's our starting point though. Barely audible French station. String virtually straight up to tune it. Yeah, I can't tell if that's French or not. Okay, I'm going to just leave it on and let it sit here for 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'm going to start. Okay, here we go. The top left corner is the instructions, and the first thing is connect a dummy antenna to pin 1 of the 12BA6 IF tube. That's this guy here. What's happened? Time for the magic elixir. Okay, wasn't expecting that. Small setback. But at least I found what the... You ever wonder where your old socks go? They're here in my shop. You know, socks disappear. One sock, I've got it. Okay, so what we're going to do is the WD-40 pin treatment here. Okay, let's see. I think that explains why the radio wasn't working quite the same. Too bad I didn't pick up on that a little earlier. Let's see what we get. Okay, barely hear the station. Still acts a little funny here. Well, we are about to align it and see if it gets any better. So again, it's just barely audible. Okay, back to what we were doing. I'm going to hook this up to grid number 1 on the 12BA6. I don't like moving operating radios, but now 12BA6 is this one here. Pin 1 is right in the clear. Yeah, the radio's working better like this. Pin number 1. I have to do this where I can see it as I do it. Get my own hand, you know, you can put your hand in, your hand gets right in the way right away. Now what am I actually, I'm actually touching a grid here, so you're not that scary a thing. Let's try this pin right here. Oops. I missed. The problem is you have to look right at the end of the clip lead, right, while you're clipping it. Meanwhile, your hand and your fingers are all over the place here. Just a wee bit on the dangerous side. So this is the output from the signal generator. I'll take the negative and put it on the B minus port. Well, that was exciting. Okay, I'm going to do that again. A little more care this time. So what happened there was I shorted one of these filter capacitors. It's working. Okay, this should make the radio go quiet, which it did. Now, we got the signal generator running at way too high a frequency. We should have it at 455. Okay, now we're going to calibrate this a little bit so it's a little closer to the truth. I gotta do that. I gotta do that. And I have to set this until the meter points at the top of the scale. That'll keep it roughly calibrated as long as this is on max now. Roughly. So in other words, that's 10 microvolts times 1000. So 10,000 microvolts being fed to the radio, although I can't swear it's 10,000 microvolts here. But it's going to be something in that ballpark. You know, half as much, twice as much, something like that. What do we hear? Do we hear anything? 436, not 455. Very good. Turn this down. Watching the meter here. Okay, a couple things. One is you can hear the heterodyne, the tone going up and down as I tune it. That's because there's another station producing another 455 in the IF. So I'm going to tune the radio to a quiet spot here, if there is one. Okay, let's call that a quiet spot. Unfortunately, well, I won't say that. It could be quiet because it's just another unmodulated noise signal. If it is, when I tune this, we should hear that tone again. So there's one down here. It's just signals everywhere in my shop. That's the problem here. I think that's going to be okay. Get a nice stable reading here. Still lots of noise. Well, we're going to ignore it, I think. Okay, one more time, tuning the signal generator, watching this meter very carefully. Where does the peak occur? Way up here, 462. Now I had aligned this roughly, maybe not even roughly, I aligned it relatively well, but you can see it's way out now after doing the capacitors, I guess. So let's bring this in to where it should be. So 455 is just below there. That's 455, even though it says 454. And now we will begin the alignment process. So just one transformer, the second one, that's this one down here. This is, I'm attempting to do the sort, the final alignment, so I really don't want to make any mistakes this time around. First time I don't care so much. There we are. Okay, watching the meter now. So that's quite a distance. You notice the staticky sound went away. It's not so much it went away, it's that the radio is turning itself down because it's picking up this signal so strongly. It's turning down its own sensitivity. Not something we particularly want. That's too weak. Okay, I'll have to leave it up there for now. Actually, I can knock it a bit here. Just knock it down a bit. Okay, top of the same coil. Same transformer, rather. Okay, watching the meter. Nice to tune this as smooth as can be. Okay, come on the bottom. Come on. There. Wrong transformer. That's how easy it is. Okay. No, this side's fine. So I really didn't change this side. Let's just check the top one last time. Now, in the end, I could peak this thing up as sharp as I can, which is what I'm doing. The shape of the response curve is controlled by the way these coils are built inside the radio. So conceivably, it's done so you peak this guy right up perfect, and you get it just the right kind of shape to the response curve, which we're going to look at later. Now we're ready to move to pin 7 of the 12BE6. Nominal sensitivity for 50 millivolts output. Well, isn't that interesting now? 50 millivolts output. So it's talking about the voltage going to the speaker. So what is the voltage going to the speaker? So we're on the 0.1 scale. Volts full scale. 0.1, so 0.1 is here. So we're at 0.0, basically 0.05. 0.05 would be 50. 50 millivolts. And we're looking at, it's supposed to be 2000 millivolts. And we're at, is that millivolts? What's that say there? Nominal sensitivity for 50 milliwatts output. So we have to assume that that's got to be 2000 microvolts or 2 millivolts. Okay, so 2 millivolts should produce the output. Millivolts. This is showing way off, but you know what, I can't be sure what I'm doing here, as much as I'm kidding myself, but I think I've got some kind of precision going here. Let's keep moving on. We'll skip that quantitative stuff, which I can never seem to do correctly. So 12BE7 pin number 7, 12BE6 pin number 7. So we're going to move up and get on pin 7. Pin 7 is easily gotten on. You know what? Oh my gosh. Well, so a number of times when I've looked in this radio, I've commented about a very light wire. That is coming from this coil. And man, if it isn't a micro millimeter from shorting out right there. Okay, so I'm going to fix that, because I don't like it. It's just this floppy light wire here. Okay, it's not shorted now. I don't think it was shorted anyway. It was really close. Get back to exactly the same spot, I hope. Okay. I want to take this guy off. We want to put them onto the pin with the light wire that I was just fiddling with. Right. Okay. Now we want to knock the signal strength down at least a factor of 10 here. Before we put it on there, here we go. Where's the... I got an extra heterodyne in there. Tune the radio, see if we get rid of it. Oh my gosh, we can't get rid of it. What's that say? What's that say? What's that say? I don't know what that says. What's that extra tone doing in there? I haven't done anything wrong here, have I? Did I say pin 7 or pin 1? It's pin 7 of the 12BE6. Pin 7 of the 12BE6. That's where I am. Well, maybe what I'll do is I'm going to up the signal strength on the signal generator and see if that doesn't. It's definitely a heterodyne with the signal generator signal. Well, let's carry on. Don't know what to do about it. Okay, so now we're doing transformer number 1. There we are. Okay. Ready on the meter. Okay. Do the top. Oh, I got it. Got it. No, I don't have it. These are annoying tools. There. Okay, watching the meter now. Trying to make sure I'm concentrating on the tone I'm hearing. I'm sure that's correct. There we are. 455. Don't do delicate things in the middle of doing something delicate. Yeah. Okay, how did we do? Did we do any? This must have made a significant difference, certainly in terms of where the pointer would end up. Let's see, straight line. How is that French station now? Pretty disappointing. I can't find it. Let's go down and try the other, my 3 stations here. It's 590. At least a third of our way through our shooting schedule already for the end of the show. And not only are we not in that position, but we have nothing in the books. That's good. The reason being, so there's a station between 590 and 640, 610 from St. Catharines, which is quite a ways away for an AM daytime signal. I thought I could hear it there for a moment. Okay, at 640, these are all Toronto stations, about 100 miles away. Start again. Okay, I'm going to use this station to get the antenna correct. There. 640. There's 680. There's that French station. Okay, next alignment steps are pretty simple. It's just a matter of doing these screws up here on these capacitors. Let's take a look and see what it says here. You go to the 12, BA6 pin number 1. And this must be the RF pin. I don't think I did this the first time. I don't think I did it like this. I think I used a, I think I just used another antenna, like another, I think I did it via antenna. So let's try this. 12BA6 pin number 1, 0.05. We're talking about this tube here. BA6. Oh, pin number 1, eh? Yeah. Well, let's see. I think it's that one right there. Take a little bit closer look here. Yeah. Yeah, pin number 1 easily accessible. Okay, so we'll put this on. Probably going to make some noise. We can go right here. Okay. Now we want to hook up our signal generator to that. And what frequency do we want? 1460. 1460. Way up here. 1460. Whoa. This is a moderately low signal strength. Of course, we're not even hooked up. It's very low signal strength. Okay, let's see if we can make a spark happen here again and make everybody jump. Nope. Should have been a little more conscious of that, you know. I mean, the positive leads are sticking right beside the one I'm clipping onto. Okay, way up here. Way up here. Go. Things got kind of quiet. So we're at 1500 here. 1460 is where we're supposed to be. On the front of the radio, you can see this little mark here. I'm going to assume that that's 1460. I think it's a good assumption. Now we'll dial in and see. Yeah. And you know, I can say yeah because I previously aligned it this way, so shouldn't be too, I could be just encountering my own mistake, sort of verifying my own previous error, but I don't think so. So how loud is this? Oh, that's plenty good. So we'll put this right on 1460, which is actually 1459. And we're going to adjust those screws. Which one is it? So the one I wanted to adjust is oscillator and interstage trimmers. Oscillator and interstage. Do they give me a hint here? Is there a hint? You may not be able to see everything on your little window there. There is no hint on here. What I'm talking about is which one of these capacitor parts are which. So I think I had it sorted out earlier, but I've forgotten now. So let's figure it out. Okay, so the oscillator is this first one. I can tell by the way it behaves when I interfere with it. Okay, watching the meter now. We're at 1459 on the signal generator. We're on the dot here. Maximize that thing. Whoop, where did it all go? On the meter. What happened? Why is my meter's behaving very weirdly? Wow, it's just I don't know. You can't see my hand, but the meter's behavior is not in coordination with the movement of my hand. It's weird. Why is that? Why is that? Because I'm using a metal instrument here, maybe? Not. I don't think it has anything to do with the metal. Okay, let's see if we can tune it now. Yeah, if I just go really slow with it, I guess maybe it was jumping or something. I'm turning the whole bladder here. Come on. Okay, that's as high as I can get it there. Okay, now the intermediate one. That's this one here. I'm just going to adjust the trimmer again, watching the meter. This guy just wants to be open all the way again. Oh, the screw actually fell out. The screw is falling out. Can't get it back in. So, I really want these two trimmers to have a peak in them. I can do it. No peak. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tune the radio downwards, force it back into 1460 with a local oscillator, and then see if I can find a peak on this other trimmer. We're going to go down a bit. A little bit of an experiment here for me. Okay, now can I find, just get it right on, can I find a peak now in this? Intermediate. It's behaving exactly the same. Okay, so I'm going to go to the other side of the dot. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. You know, when you don't know what to do, just do something. Okay. Now, can I discover a peak on this other trimmer? Look at that, there is one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten this one to a comfortable position. Like this is the intermediate trimmer, so it's not open all the way. I'm going to move this even farther up, and then I'm going to correct it with the local oscillator. It's hard to keep it from jumping. It's a jumpy screw. Okay. Now, what kind of peak can we manage with this middle adjustment? Very distinct peak now is visible. What I've been concluding here in my later years is there may be many cases where when you try to force the alignment of the radio into its ideal operating condition, factory type condition, you just can't get there with it. You just can't do it. And I've settled a lot of radios where I've ensured the pointer is correct on the dial, but I've been unable to find a peak in some of these trimmers. So I've reasoned out that maybe the radio just can't do it, and you have to go in hunting of the area where it will peak up. And then once you find that and get that happening, see how it is in terms of the dial pointer, and think about what, whether you want to leave it off or try to somehow force it back in. So what I've learned today is a failure to see a peak on the trimmers. Yeah, this is kind of bad news for the first 500 radios I've aligned, but now most of them you can find a peak, but a lot of them you can't. So okay, so that's one trimmer. That's the intermediate trimmer and the local oscillator. I shouldn't have touched this. Wow, where'd it go? I just kind of... Did I do something to it? Why so weak all of a sudden? I'm wiggling the tube here. I don't know. Seems to be getting weaker and weaker as we sit here. Now that could be because the other... No. I was going to say it could be because the other alignment adjustment hasn't been made yet, but that's actually earlier. We're injecting the signal partway through the radio, just kind of past the antenna a little bit. So it seems to have been okay and then go away. Why would you go away? It's getting weaker. Every time I tune it, it seems to get a little weaker. I really can't even hear it anymore. Why would it go away? Some other tube's loose. No. My signal generator output has dropped. That's not very likely at all. I can hear it now. Oh, you know what? It could be just dirt in the volume control doing that. That could be all it is. Okay, peak there. And 1460 is tuning just past this little dot. And how bad can that really be? Good, let's go see, let's do the next stage and see if the next one will peak up also. So now we want to, it says oscillator and interstage trimmers. Okay, so it must be oscillator, trimmer, and interstage trimmer, just two. Okay, I'm really suspicious about the wording of these things sometimes. So number 4, we must broadcast the signal to the radio via some kind of coil here. Let's do this. Oop. Do that first. Very good. No sparks flying. So we're gonna put this transmitting antenna here. What happened? Put it there. Put it somewhere where it's not going to be disturbed or moved. Good. Give it a little more juice. Okay, lots of signal strength now. Tuning. Very good. Now what are we supposed to do? 1460, do the antenna. 10 microvolts. Wait a minute. How can they give you a microvolt rating when you're using just a coil antenna? Don't know. Okay. Adjusting. See if there's a peak on this one. Well, first I better make sure I got the radio tuned right on the money here. There we go. Oh my gosh, what just happened? What happened? My speaker clip lead came off. As I'm turning the radio, I'm changing its interaction with the feeding coil, sending coil. So I gotta make sure everything is pretty stable when I do this. Very, very sensitive, right? You know what I could do? I could put this antenna right on top of the turntable here. That'll end that problem. Well, might still be a slight variation, but we don't worry too much about it now. Tuning it. Okay, ready on the adjustment. Here we go. Not a thing happening. Oh, here we go. Beautiful. Lovely. It's got a peak now. So I think that's the lesson. The lesson is if you try to force these radios into factory operation and they just can't get there anymore, maybe something has happened to the coils. They've changed their whatever. Am I jumping too far ahead? I am. Check only 600. Check only 600. Okay. So it's a whole bunch of marks here. One of these has got to be 600. So that's the end of the run. That's probably 600 right there. Just lining them up. Yep. RU 600. So let's find out. Not quite. Of course, I monkeyed with the oscillator to get the radio into a tunable state, and that's caused the dial pointer to be off now. Something I've always worked against. Oh my gosh, listen how good it is. Now if I push the scale off this way, then I've lost a couple stations down here, especially 590, the sports station. People want to listen to that. It's one of the few stations I'm interested in listening to around here. Let's find out. I took the radio down. Okay, what do we got for the radio now? So pointer's lining up pretty much at the end dot. That would be 600. But it's not. So that's 590. There we go. And then 600 just above. There it is. I'll put on a whopper of a signal now. Okay. Oscillator.
Effectivement. Et Raphaël, je vais me poser la question ensuite. Évidemment, c'est la question qu'on pose à tout le monde aujourd'hui. Ou le 13 juin 2019, lorsque les Raptors ont été finalement consacrés champions. Clinton, allez.
Moi, j'étais à l'écoute, c'est sûr. Pour la soirée, je pense que ça commençait à 9h, 9h15 dans ce temps-là. Et j'ai écouté ça jusqu'à la fin. Puis je me rappelle, j'avais un verre de vin et du fromage. Puis oui, j'ai échappé mon verre en me levant. Et j'ai essuyé le plancher tout de suite pour pas que ma blonde voie que j'avais fait un petit dégât.
Vous, Raphaël, vous étiez aux commandes, vous étiez en train de travailler. J'imagine quand les Raptors ont remporté le match.
So at this point, I'm continuing to fiddle around here, and I know myself, if I continue to do this, I'll eventually detune this whole radio while I'm trying to kind of pick it up by ear. I'll end up doing the opposite. I think what I'd like to do is call it done for today. I followed the standard procedures. At the end there, I'm doing a little fiddling, it's true, and it seemed to help a little bit. I think what I'd like to do tomorrow with the radio is repeat the alignment process, only with a different set of equipment, one that we can actually see the response curves with, see the actual frequency of the local oscillator, and come at it that way and see if I can get it even better than it is now. So, but I think that's it for today. Not a bad result. I mean, the radio's in good shape now. Even if I just left it the way it is now, it's quite respectable. But I think I can eke a little more out of it. I'd certainly like to try, again, this is one of these radios with a 3-section capacitor, an extra tube in the front end. This should be a real good performer. So I'm going to see if I can get it even higher in performance. So thanks a lot for watching, and enjoy your day. I'm heading out to the sunshine and land of the cats. See ya.